What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Raised. With the third installment of The Kissing Booth hitting the spotlight, fans have been wondering if there ever is going to be another sequel, The Kissing Booth 4. Possibly. Well, today we're going to take a first look and tell you everything we know about a potential fourth sequel of the franchise, and will it ever happen?
Lee?
Recap. Before we move on forward and talk about a potential upcoming movie from the franchise, let's take a short recap and see what happened in the last sequel, and how that movie might have some clues as to whether another movie, a fourth one, is coming. Be warned though, The Kissing Booth 3 spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the movie yet. The movie sets itself in the middle of a summer break, and Elle is trying to enjoy it to the fullest, with a big decision looming over her head. Does she keep her promise to Lee and follow him to Berkeley, or go to Harvard with Noah? Throughout the movie, Elle struggles to juggle the demands of everyone around her, ticking off something off of her bucket list, with Lee waitressing with Noah. Oh, and Marco comes back onto the scene, the previous flame of Elle's, a chain of events that almost causes a rift between her and Noah. The two make up, but later she finds her Berkeley acceptance letter, and worrying that she is only going to Harvard to make him happy. She breaks up with Noah. Heartbroken, Elle tries to make a decision for herself, and goes on to study video game design at USC. Lee goes off to Berkeley after him breaking up with his girlfriend, Rachel. However, the love stories don't end here. In the epilogue, we see 6 years into the future. Lee and Rachel are getting married while Elle and Noah meet again and go for one more motorcycle ride. The ending feels like it is a final one, but the ambiguity of Elle and Noah's reunion is leaving us stranded, with potential updates to their love story and the possible continuation of it.
Good morning! It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sunshine. Sports drink and aspirin are to your left.
Will it happen? To start off, The Kissing Booth 4 as of right now seems unlikely because Netflix has been calling the third movie as an end of an era. But is this really the case? While the third installment has been marketed as an end of an era, if you remember, a similar thing happened with other Netflix teen series such as To All the Boys, which was set to end with a third movie as well, but we know that a spin-off series is in the works. Thus, whether or not we actually see another sequel of the franchise on Netflix, or the series back in a different form, remains to be seen. The epilogue showed us that there is still a spark between Elle and Noah, even with 6 years already behind them, and that their old romance is still there, as they go on a motorcycle ride. It is not guaranteed that they will get back together, but there is a fairly heavy hint that they will, with the fourth movie diving deeper into the next phase of their love story.
I'm gonna fight for you.
I'll fight for you too.
On the other hand, however, even though there are hints about the next chapters of their lives, there's also a glimmering finality in the third installment as well, which also is believed to be partly true because this is that way that Joey King has been feeling, talking about how this is the final time she is playing Elle. She said that it is very emotional to say goodbye to a character she has been playing for several years, but like any other good thing, this one also has to come to an end, a character that had such importance to her personal life too.
We go up to Berkeley, we'll find an apartment, get set up. It'll be like we're moving in together without the actual, moving in part.
Elordi also told Vanity Fair that The Kissing Booth 3 is really the last kiss, calling it a final chapter. All of this seems pretty definitive to all of us for the time being. We are afraid to say it, but this is the state of the franchise for now. The franchise made all of the leading cast members stars, and with all of them having already busy schedules, we just can't imagine any of these stars in another movie or series other than another The Kissing Booth sequel. Of course, given how the series became so popular in the last few years, you can never say never, and maybe in a few years' time, we'll get to see Elle, Lee, and Noah again at the next stage of their life.
So then come to Berkeley with me. It's worth a shot.
This is what I'm talking about, though. I chose Boston to be with Noah and Berkeley to be with you.
Release date. It is very difficult to predict when the fourth installment of the franchise would release, especially knowing that Netflix still hasn't officially ordered it to be put in work in the first place. But in the event that the streaming platform gives the green light to The Kissing Booth 4, it still might not see the light of day for a while. Aside from the stacked slate for Netflix, writers have also come up with an original story for the project, and not release something that is just forced.
When did you become such a doctor?
Since I started getting into fights, you kind of learn to take care of yourself when that happens.
This should not be a problem, however, because of the time jump presented to us, effectively freeing them from the limitations of the actor's real age with regards to playing young characters. All in all, when everything is taken into consideration, you should not expect the next sequel in the upcoming year like the previous release, 1 movie per year, maybe 2-year period before it releases. According to our assumptions, 2023 would be the earliest year in which we might get to see what's coming. That aside, we would have to get back at you when more information about the potential upcoming movie is given to the public.
Oh, okay. I'll be down in a second.
Okay.
Cast. The recent rumors and cravings from the fans of bringing yet another sequel to the Kissing Booth saga brings up the question about the cast. Who would take a place in that movie if it ever gets made? In the case that the movie is approved by Netflix of becoming a real thing, Jacob Elordi, Joey King, and Jill Courtney are expected to return to reprise their roles. After all, those are the ones that have been carrying the franchise in the first place. Who would even watch a sequel without them starring in the leading roles, right? Now, since The Kissing Booth 3 ended with the cast 6 years older, we should expect more and more new characters introduced as the trio properly begin their adult lives, in a whole new world outside of their teenage and college years.
I got off the wait list. Harvard.
What?
Plot. As all of us who have watched the movies know, the books to which the movies were based on also ended with its 3rd installment, so in order for a 4th sequel to come, the writers would eventually have to craft an entirely original story and continue the narrative we have been all excited about. While this might sound like a bad thing to have, the freedom the writers would have might prove an excellent thing to have at the moment, as the franchise would be able to explore a lot in the still not confirmed upcoming movie. At the end of the 3rd movie, we found out that Lee and Rachel did in fact find each other after finishing university and got engaged. So one of the ideas on the top of our head is that the movie might place itself in the run up to their wedding. While Elle and Noah had split up in the last movie, in the flash forward we saw that there was definitely still a spark between the two. Thus, the next movie could follow the pair as they grow close once again, and finally have their happily ever after, just like all movies from this genre would, following the footsteps of Lee and Rachel.
Maybe if we're meant to be together, we'll find our way back to each other.
But I love you.
Whatever the case may be, we are sure that all of you are excited as we are to see at least one more sequel to the story, if not more. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, if a 4th movie from the franchise ever does get a green light, what would you like to see happen in it? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would ever like to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.